Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Virgo energy. And for this round, we're going to do a 10 card spread. We're going to use this deck by Maruk X off their Etsy shop. It's kind of a mix of Kipper and Lenormand. And we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because life's about learning lessons, and some people have learned some more lessons than some other people. High Vibe Virgo is about learning lessons, getting out of your ego, seeing where you need to heal and grow and mature yourself, getting clear about your truth. And, part of growing up is getting clear about our truth. And sometimes we go on these journeys in life to learn these lessons because we're not clear about our truth. And that could be where some people still are. They're still trying to figure out what their truth is and what their truth isn't. And other people do know what their truth is. In our dualistic nature of free will, we're either more motivated and inspired to build our foundation on truth and love and justice and fairness and treating other people the way we like to be treated, or we might decide, no, I think maybe I could live more from my mind than my heart, that I could try to just manipulate people to get what I want. I don't have to do love. I get hurt doing love. I might not really want to be just and fair. I might not want to be more authentically myself. I might like to hide behind my egoic nature and let my ego run my life. I might be more about myself, or indulgence, or money or power or status is more important. And then there's the people that are in between. So we all tap into Virgo energy. This might be something particularly that people who are Virgo sun sign or have significant Virgo placements deal with. But because we all are dealing with all these other people in the world and they've all got their Virgo truth and we've got our Virgo truth, it's trying to find people who are more on the same page as us. So it's kind of interesting because we do have a lot of cards not showing themselves, kind of the end of the story, because Virgo can be about those hidden truths. And have we went within to work through these issues that can manipulate us into one viewpoint or another of how we view ourselves or how we view others or how we view the world, or have we not? So I view this card as the overarching reason for the reading, and it is the courthouse with the scales of justice. So, of course, that makes me think of Libra energy and the Judgment card. Libra energy is represented by the scales of justice. The Judgment card, of course, are we willing to hold ourselves accountable for our actions, or other people? Are we willing to hold other people accountable for their actions? Are they willing to hold themselves accountable for their actions? And the truth is, some people aren't. Right now, some people could be doing work within themselves to get more balance within themselves, and instead of indulging poor behavior in themselves or others. Some people have already went through that process, and there could be some people that they cut out of their life that they've already seen the truth, that what you think is just and fair is different than what I think is just and fair. At the conclusion of the reading, we have something not showing itself, which is the disconnection card. I kind of view the disconnection card as like the Scorpio death card. Scorpio is emotional water sign energy, and it talks about death and rebirth. Are we ready to close out an old chapter in our life emotionally, where we kind of call judgment on it? That, I've lived my life at a certain way of living life, viewing life, and I'm ready to give birth to something new. And I kind of see what things I need to emotionally detach from, and ways of living life, viewing life, if I want to give birth to my dreams. So let's look at the cards that are showing themselves. We have divine support, the lilies, the gift of money, the trumpet card, and the heart card, which the heart card says the 7th house, which is Libra energy again. And the trumpet card is fire sign energy. Sometimes some people can be more about themselves, and they want to turn their back on being more just and fair. And they think it is just and fair to be more about themselves, and they don't want to hold themselves accountable. And they could be hiding that some other people emotionally disconnected from them and moved on because they do harness these energies in a more shadowy way, you know? And, the divine is there trying to help everyone kind of get more balance within themselves. Again, Libra is about getting more balance within ourselves. We all have our more hopeful, believing, loving, creative, inspired, authentic nature. We all have our more shadowy, worldly, self-defensive, self-protective, more about ourself nature. The divine is there with everyone, trying to help everyone, but everyone has free will. And so, some people, the Lily's card is Capricorn energy. The gift of money is like the Ace of Pentacles, which can represent all three of the earth sign energies of Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. The truth is, because the truth sets us free, so we need to see the truth that there are some people that still are more in their Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn worldly nature of self, regardless of what zodiac sun sign they are, that they are kind of still more motivated and inspired by themselves or the world. And in our fire sign energy, we all grow up in the world. We get indoctrinated into the world. We are all kind of fired up about a lot about these things of the world. And it can kind of keep us more tipped out of balance because we are so focused on those things of the world. I want this, and I want to indulge in this, and I want to make my life about this, and this is really important to me, and I want to manifest these certain things, and I want to be in a relationship, and I want to have friendship, and I want to have a job, and I want to maybe have a family, and I want to be married, and I want to be victorious and successful. So in tarot, they can refer to that as kind of being more in your south node. Is it just and fair for you to go through that stage of life? Yes. It's part of, you learning lessons and getting more clear about what your truth is. But initially, in our fire sign energy, which is the things that motivate and inspire us, we're pretty motivated and inspired by the world. And kind of ourself and all these things that we want to indulge in, and trying to learn these lessons of what should I invest. That's earth sign energy. What should I invest my time, energy, and effort into to try to get what I want, what I think is just and fair? And we have a lot of lessons to learn about that, because we could think, instead of getting balance within ourselves and loving ourselves and investing in ourselves, the trumpet card and fire sign energy of Aries and Leo and Sagittarius. Am I inspired to go on this adventure to love myself and live my more authentic life from love? And do I love myself enough to live my more authentic life and not let my shadow nature, all these things of the world kind of manipulate me? And it's all part of that process. So we all go invest in these things of the world. We think we're going to go get justice, and we could look to all these different things to make us happy. We could look to drugs and booze and gambling and being in a relationship and having certain type of jobs and having a certain status or image. And the whole thing is to eventually be enlightened to the truth that if we want true justice in our life and true abundance in our life, it is about having a balance of both. And some people somewhere along the line are like, aligning with my loving nature or love, that's not as important. These things of the world are more important, or making it more about me is more important. So if it's more about them or it's more about these things of the world, they're still convinced that is like the end all be all. And other people kind of grow up and mature themselves and realize, if I really want to have true abundance in my life, I do want to work together with other people. And I want to work with them from love, and I want them to work with me because of love. And I want to be in jobs and things that inspire me and motivate me, that are creative and inspired, where I can grow to my full potential. And I want to work together and be in friendships and relationships with other people who have that type of energy. And some people are like, no, I don't want to do that, because I just, it can be more about just conforming to the world. Let's make our life about these things. If we have these things, we look like we have gotten justice in the world. And that's the most important thing, is to look like we have these certain things, or we live this certain type of life. And so then people can stay in jobs and friendships and relationships that maybe really don't even challenge them to grow to their full potential or be more authentic or be more bold and brave and confident. No, no, you should live your life like this and you should make your life about these things. And other people are kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum that I don't want to have a job just to have a job. I don't want to be in a relationship or a friendship just to be in a relationship or a friendship. I want to be in those things that I want to grow to my full potential. And that Virgo energy is represented by the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is putting in work and effort to heal and grow and mature themselves, male or female, to become the King of Pentacles, where the King of Pentacles can be when I go present myself in the world as being a certain type of person and thinking a certain way, believing a certain way, presenting myself as being this stable, grounded, emotionally mature person that people should want to work with, date, marry. I want that to be, I am that person. I'm not creating an illusion. And that's the difference between, are you authentically who you say you are? Or are you trying to create an illusion about who you are so people will work together with you in some type of relationship dynamic, but you kind of hide, that you harness these energies maybe in a more shadowy way. Well, I don't want to take accountability for my actions. I think it's just and fair to make my life about this. I might not tell you that I want to be in a friendship or relationship with you for these more self-serving reasons, because High Vibe Libra and love and Virgo's about the truth, which is love. Love is supposed to be just and fair. You are supposed to treat other people the way you like to be treated. And some people are like, well, no, that's not how, or I don't even believe in love. Some people think everybody is trying to get in these certain situations to look like they have a certain status or image, manipulating other people to get what they want. And that could be because that's how they are and that's how they view life, and they use their emotions and their sexuality and their money and their looks or their charm or whatever they've got to try to manipulate people to get them in relationship with them, but they're not really motivated by love. And then other people are exactly the opposite. They could be attractive and charming and have status and image and power and social clout. And they're not using those things. Those are just perks that they have, But it's really more motivated and inspired by truth, being inspired by love, wanting to be in more just and fair and authentic and loving relationships where we work together to, yes, we live in the world. It is about a balance. We all want some stability and security in our life. Again, I can love people, but if those people aren't balanced within themselves and they might think that, well, I don't have to put in work and effort to be more stable or grounded. It's like, well, that is part of being balanced and loving yourself and loving others. Again, it's about a balance. So we work together with people to invest our time, energy, and effort into those things that are aligned with our truth, using our unique talent, skills, and interests that motivate and inspire us, that make us feel more balanced within ourselves. And then when we're taking responsibility for being more balanced within ourselves, I don't just let my heart run my life. I don't let my just worldly nature run my life. I don't let my mind and my fear run my life. I don't let my more immature, fiery nature of self-indulgence run my life. I have learned all these lessons that I need to temper all those things so that I maintain balance within myself. Then I can work together with other people in truth and love and justice and fairness because I'm balanced, and then I want to work with other people who are more balanced. And some of the more shadowy people are like, no, no, no. You be that way and you indulge me in my poor behavior. Maybe because I might have these things of the world that you want, that you are tempted by. Maybe I'm attractive, maybe I'm charming, I've got money, I'm the employer. You should indulge me in my poor behavior. Or you should make it more about me. Maybe you're tipped out of balance in being a loving person. Well, everybody, loving people can be manipulated by less loving people because they do put a lot of work and effort and are inspired to try to make things balanced. And that's what some shadowy people count on. You keep putting in a lot of work and effort to make this get more balanced, but I'm not willing to be more balanced. I turn my back on being more balanced. But you can keep putting in work and effort. You keep working here. You keep being my friend. You keep dating me. You keep staying married to me. And eventually, people realize they're not getting the justice they deserve. And that's when they kind of start to do this work within themselves. Why would I stay in jobs, friendships, and relationships with people? I can love them, yes. But are people using the love that I have for them to try to manipulate me and control me? Are they more in it because of the ego and the image or the status? Are they inspired by truth and love? If I'm inspired by truth and love, why am I not in relationships with people who are more inspired by truth and love? Do I want to stay in a relationship with people who are more about themselves or ego or image and try to maybe manipulate and control me? They think that's just and fair? Is that what I think is just and fair? And some people are in that situation right now and they're going through that. Other people have been through it and they're trusting the divine and they're putting in the work and effort to work through the confusion of it, to make peace with the past so they can emotionally disconnect from it. We are emotionally complex people, and that's kind of what Scorpio energy, emotional water sign energy is about. And also, Scorpio is fixed sign energy. We put in this work and effort to make something work, and then it's hard for us to emotionally disconnect from it because we did put this work and effort into it. And there could be a lot of things. They had this dream, the trumpet is kind of like, this is a feminine figure, and the feminine figures can talk about how we think and feel, whether we're male or female. I was hoping to have a victory. I had this dream. This person is on a mountaintop or a cliff kind of, which of course reminds me of Aries energy. The Fool is jumping off the cliff, and the mountains kind of remind me of Virgo energy, and they look like they're looking over a water realm and the clouds, and that can all be our emotional nature and our creative nature and our dreams. And the opposite sign of Virgo is Pisces energy. Pisces is water sign energy, and sometimes it can, in certain decks, can kind of, the clouds card reminds me of Pisces energy. Am I more caught up in an illusion? And is someone trying to confuse me about the truth emotionally? Are they again trying to manipulate my emotional nature, my loving nature? Am I going to keep hoping one day things will change where I can't change other people? And this divine support card is kind of reminding me of the Temperance card. But, because the divine is always trying to help us balance out our emotions about what our truth is, what our truth isn't, accepting the truth of where other people are at and how they view life. If I've been being patient and I keep seeing that some of the people in my life keep investing in kind of repeating a way of living life, and they could keep showing me that they don't want to bring justice to the situation, and maybe it could be because they don't want to take accountability for their actions. I need to see the truth of it. If people were motivated to be more just and fair, they'd be more just and fair. If they were more motivated by truth and love, they'd take action in their life more in truth and love. If they were willing to be more wanting to work things out and take accountability for their actions, they would. And some people don't. And Libra energy, is also represented by the Two of Swords, the Three of Swords, and the Four of Swords. The Two of Swords can be that we're in two minds about things. Like we can have hope and faith and belief in other people and hope that they make the free will choice to get inspired, to get balanced, to be just and fair, to choose love. But it kind of keeps us stuck. And then in the Three of Swords, we can be heartbroken. And then in the Four of Swords, we need to meditate on the truth of it. And that's what some people do. Can I love people and be inspired and attracted to people and want a dream to come into reality with people? Yes, but if they keep kind of repeating an old pattern and investing their time and energy into a way of living life or viewing life that isn't conducive to moving to this next phase of life where it is more inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness, I need to see the truth of it. So then I think high vibe people start to do work within themselves to work through how they could harness these energies in a more shadowy way, and that's what keeps them in that relationship. So what are they? Wealthy woman, courthouse, official person, stork, and timing. Emotionally, there can be a lot of reasons why we want to stay in that relationship. We could have a lot of love for some people. So the wealthy woman can mean you're very abundant. Wealth and money is just another a form of energy, but you can be very abundant in love, and it's very hard for you to call judgment on other people. Can we also, in our more worldly nature, be tempted to stay in jobs, friendships, and relationships? Because in some worldly ways, there's a lot of stability or security, friend group, a job, that we have a hard time letting go of those things too, right? But then we have to think about, is this just and fair? And is everyone, my dream, kind of the fire sign energies, is if I want this new beginning and I'm motivated and inspired by love, my dream can only come into reality with other people who are motivated and inspired by that too. I can put a lot of work and effort into making something stable and grounded and nurturing and loving, but I'm the one kind of putting in all the work and effort, and it can end up feeling overwhelming. I would like my cup to be refilled also, and I would like people to be in that energy towards me. And sometimes some more shadowy people think, because you're a loving person, I can manipulate you. Because you could be in my family or my friend group or my workplace. I think those things are important to you and you don't like to give up on those things that basically, again, I think I can act in these shadowy ways and I don't think you'll call judgment on me. And I don't have to take accountability for my actions. So, we kind of think about who is taking accountability, who isn't. There could be some people right now that are trying to decide what their truth is, and they could have different people to pick from. And there's people who are more abundant in truth and love and creativity and imagination and have some stability and security in their life. But other people definitely could have more status, image, social clout, or whatever. And they could be kind of loving, but it's like, which is more aligned with our truth? And which of those people, male or female, are more willing to, are maybe a little more bossy or controlling or tempt us more in our lust and our greed and our pride and our ego and our materialistic nature? And who are the people who are trying to inspire us to love and believe in ourselves and believe that we have more to work with than just these things of the world? That, just like we have these different people in the world that can tempt us, we also have our dualistic nature that kind of tempts us. Our loving nature and loving people in the world want us to be inspired to get the justice we deserve, not to settle for less, to indulge ourselves, to indulge others. Stand up for your truth. Invest in your truth. But then we can have our shadow nature and other people in our life who try to tell us, no, 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 don't do that. Don't align with your loving nature. Don't align with those people. You should make your life more about this. You know, the official person can be kind of like our self-protective nature that is defensive with the stork card of giving birth to anything new. Going on a new adventure. This one does say Aries. Aries also is fire sign energy. We should keep doing things the way we've been doing it. Who knows what'll happen if we were to give birth to something new? We might fail. It might not work out. Maybe if we were to go give birth to something new, you know, maybe some of the people in our life would be mad at us. Well, are we trying to control them and tell them how to live their life? Why do we give them that much power in our life? We could be more emotionally codependent on them. Loving people encourage you to love and believe in yourself and to listen to your intuition, to try to keep things in balance, not make, you know, just even like, you could be a parent to children, are you going to encourage them to kind of try to go more in the career field that they really love? And we do have to be practical, but you could go do a career that you love that doesn't pay that much money. And I believe the divine works with us to get the justice we deserve, but we have to align with our more creative, inspired nature. Might we have to do other things to supplement ourselves in the meantime? Yes. But if we just make our life more about the world, then we're kind of not listening to our, again, Virgo energy carrying in the Knight of Pentacles, holding that one pentacle, and the 8 and the 9 of 10 of Pentacles is also Virgo energy. We have all these unique talents, traits, skills, interests, and things that we've learned in life that we can use those things and the lessons that we've learned and our unique interests and talents and skills, they were given to us to help us manifest our dreams. But if we keep ignoring them and we keep, no, like I don't believe in that, or I don't trust that, or I don't respect that, or I'm not going to listen to that, we kind of end up settling for a little more of the status quo in a way. And so we have to work through our own defensiveness to giving birth to something new. And it's scary to give birth to something new because we are stepping into unknown territory where we knew how these things work. So we're kind of tempted to want to keep staying in those types of jobs, friendships, relationships, ways of living life, and habits and stuff like that, because then we don't have to do life any differently. And there probably won't be someone mad at us. The only thing is we can ignore our more creative, inspired, loving nature that wants us. High Vibe Scorpio is exploring the mysteries of life emotionally, and we're emotionally complex human beings. Do we want to just make our life more about indulging ourselves to feel better? Or do we really want to experience and willing to experience the highs and the lows? And there's some people who are defensive, even emotionally, to exploring life. They could harness a more shadowy Scorpio nature, more shadowy Virgo nature, shadowy Libra, Virgo, Taurus, fire sign nature, where I don't want to step outside my comfort zone and I don't want to explore life emotionally because we are emotionally confusing and complex human beings. And I don't care to go there because that's confusing. I want to stay here, and it's kind of getting in a relationship, to be in a relationship, kind of indulging yourself. Fire sign energy can be your sexual nature. Indulging yourself in a relationship, and I'm good. If I'm in a relationship, I'm good. Do I want to do a more deep, meaningful relationship? No. That's confusing. And so then I'm kind of viewing the official person is kind of like a shadowy King of Swords Libra energy within ourselves that again, we're kind of letting our more egoic, self-protective nature run our life. You get hurt out there. You can't do love. People could manipulate you. People could hurt you. We're going to make our life, male or female, more about using our resources manipulatively to get what we want, not really authentically being inspired by love, because if we do that, we get hurt. And other people are like, I can't live a life and stay in workplaces with people who are bossy or controlling or defensive or immature or bossy or controlling. I want to be in an emotionally fulfilling work environment, friendships, and relationships with people. And if it's not here, I'm going to work through all my defensiveness about giving birth to something new. And like I say, some people already did this and they are investing in taking action to get the justice they deserve in the world. And then as they're out in the world, they've already done this work within themselves. They've already detached from their more shadowy, fearful nature. They've already detached from the people in their life who wanted to be in a relationship with them, being in their more shadowy energy. And they're like, no, I am inspired to get the justice I deserve and live my truth. And I worked through all the things within me that could have made me keep staying in relationships with people who harness this energy in a more worldly focused, codependent, or whatever way of living life. And as those people are moving forward in life that way and working together with other people, other people don't really know, just like you don't really know about other people. Are you harnessing this energy in a more high vibe way, or are you just creating an illusion that you're this more stable, grounded, emotionally mature, inspired by love person, but you really are someone who is defensive, is kind of bossy and controlling, and we get to know people to try to see if they have freed themselves from things that manipulate them to the same degree that we have. And are they who they say they are? And people could be listening to their intuition about different people, to get an idea of how they want to move forward. And when people feel like they are ready to take more action, because the masculine energies can represent about taking action in the world, then we'll take that action in our life, have reconciled ourselves with issues from our past. High vibe people don't want to repeat those past patterns. They want to be more emotionally fulfilled. They're willing to get in the driver's seat of their life in an emotionally balanced, loving way to go move forward, living their more authentic life. And when we're ready to do that, we will do that. Right now, some people could just be doing this work within themselves to maintain balance within themselves, not take action more out of shadowy reasons, continuing to do this work and keep their distance from people in their world and in their life who they know harness these energies in a more shadowy way. And again, kind of listening to their intuition to guide them, and then they take action on listening to their intuition when they see people who could remind them of people from their past who have certain ways of living life and conducting themselves. They could be kind of attracted to some of those people, but they realize I'd be moving forward more repeating an old pattern where it's more maybe of codependency or ego or image, and I don't want to do that because eventually the truth comes out that I don't find that an emotionally balanced, inspiring, victorious type of relationship. So when I see people and meet people who I think are kind of more in that more shadowy way of viewing life, we should get in a relationship. This would be good for us. This would look good. We're compatible in a lot of ways. It's just like, no, I need to keep moving on, believing in myself, believing in my dreams. I view the high honor card like the Six of Wands. If there's people that are more about getting in a relationship to get in a relationship because it looks victorious and successful, I'll let someone else repeat that pattern with you, and I'm going to move on. And I believe that the divine, with the surprise visitor and the good news, is that if I keep moving forward, listening to truth and love and my intuition to guide me instead of my worldly nature, more fearful nature, codependent nature guide me, I'm going to meet people who are more on the same page as me and have the same philosophy of life as I do. And I don't want to be in relationships where it's more about repeating that old pattern, you know? Again, it's like we all lived life at age 15, then we faced our fears to go out in the world and get jobs and move out and all that stuff. And then we could have people in our life who are like, oh, don't do that. And you should keep hanging out with me and you should keep living life with like me. And it's like, I'm never going to kind of grow to my full potential if I keep getting in relationships with people who have that way of living life and viewing life. I am more inspired to get the justice or more balance in my life and not be manipulated to do things more out of my defensiveness, to change or to grow, or I'm going to work through my fears because I don't like my own fear manipulating me, or my lust, or my greed, or my pride, or my ego, or my codependent nature. And we just see that some people are more happy living their life like that, and that is their philosophy of life. Very hard to change people's philosophy of life. I accept the truth of it. I see the truth of it. I see you're more defensive to giving birth to anything new. And I wish you peace, and I'm going to move on. And some people right now are thinking of moving on. If there's shadowy people in relationships with people who have that hopeful, believing, loving spirit, they could be hiding. They don't like it. You've changed. You're not the same person you used to be. I used to be able to manipulate you more. I used to use your loving nature. I used to be able to be more bossy and controlling of you. And now you seem to be more standing up for yourself and what you believe in, and I don't like it. And those people could be thinking of trying to do something, because again, that's the difference in a relationship. You're either offering people truth and love, and you're being authentic, trying to bring justice to the situation. And then some of the very people in your life are mad about that because they don't want to have to be more just and fair. They don't want, you should just keep doing it the way you were doing it before. And now some people could be getting balanced. Aries and Libra are on opposite sides of the spectrum, and we can live more from our mind than our heart. We could have been more inspired by the world. We could have been more about ourselves. And everybody was grappling with that because it's all about trying to get more balanced within these ways of being within ourselves. And some people are getting more balance between their fiery nature and what they think is just and fair, and a way of viewing life and living life and relationships and all those things they were willing to stay in. They could have stayed in them either because they were someone who was kind of more inspired to try to get other people balanced. And then it could be, why am I trying to do that? If they were motivated and inspired to be more motivated and inspired by love and be more balanced, they would be. Why am I not going and getting in relationships with people who are already more inspired to be balanced, who I don't have to try to get them to change? And other high vibe people have realized that. I can't. Shadowy people try to use things of the world to get people to work together with them and indulge them in their poor behavior. High vibe people try to encourage people to work together with them from love. And eventually we kind of see the truth of who's who in our life. And we go through this process of kind of more emotionally disconnecting from the people who show us by what they invest their time, energy, and effort into, and how they conduct themselves, that their truth is different than my truth, and everybody's at where they're at. I don't have to stay upset and angry about it. I worked through all of that. Everybody's got to learn lessons in time, is what the stork and the timing can be about. I've had to learn some hard lessons in life, and some other people are going to have to learn some hard lessons in life. Until they are willing to more emotionally disconnect from some more egoic, codependent, materialistic, self-centered ways of being, they're going to keep being motivated and inspired by those things. And they could just be looking for someone who will indulge them in that way of being. And some other people are like, no, it's going to have to be someone else because it's not going to be me. And I have got more balanced within myself. I could have been a much more loving person and was defensive and kind of indulged people in their poor behavior. But I have realized and seen the truth. I don't want to keep giving birth to that pattern over and over. You know, shadowy Scorpio is represented by the death card. I don't want to keep repeating a pattern and being in a relationship with people where nothing new grows there. Again, you have to be willing to get out of your ego to learn lessons in life. And some people can be kind of full of themselves, and it's like, I don't have to learn any lessons. I don't have to look at life any differently. I have this way of living my life, and I want to live my life that way. It's like, okay, then you can. I just won't be here. And I'm going to go find people who are less about the world, less about themselves. Find people who view what is just and fair in a relationship kind of the same as me, because apparently you don't. And some other people are just working through this within themselves right now. Other people are investing their time, energy, and effort into the people in their life who work together with them in a just and fair way. They've wished peace kind of to the people in their past who didn't, and they're moving forward with the people in their life who do. And the shadowy people also kind of like, yep, you live your life differently than me. I don't want to live my life like that. And they're trying to find people who are more on the same page as them. And that's why they either that they can manipulate and control, or have those things of the world that they value, or someone they can manipulate, or who indulges them. You know, people invest their time, energy, and effort into what their truth is. And they're either trying to manipulate someone new or indulging in what they like to indulge in. And we need to see the truth of it, love and believe in ourselves to keep moving forward, to invest in the people in the world who are more on the same page as us. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Virgo energy? Working with the people in their life, offering truth and love to people to work together with them, not trying to manipulate them, not trying to control them, not still defensive, you know, not creating illusion, really are ready to give birth to something new. What's coming up for them they might not see? The High Priestess and the Knight of Cups. Why? Because of the Page of Pentacles. So the Page of Pentacles can represent all three earth signs. Because in your earth sign energy of self, in your Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus energy, you are willing to put in the work and effort to want to have a new beginning. I don't want to repeat that old pattern. I've already been in relationships with people that have these certain traits, characteristics, and ways of being. And I'm going to take the lessons that I learned from that life experience to move forward in life. And I've also learned to listen to my intuition, because when we were a little bit fired up more about ourselves and things of the world, we could have thought well, we just kind of could have wanted to go indulge in some things of the world. And then it didn't really work out the way we wanted. And we could have ignored, I kind of view fire sign energy and emotional water sign energy as listening to our intuition. And the high priestess is Pisces Cancer, which again, Pisces is the opposite sign of Virgo. And the Knight of Cups is Pisces. Getting more balanced within ourselves that do I want these things of the world? Do I want love? And it has to be a balance. And I also have to learn to listen to my intuition. My intuition was given to me as a gift. It is one of the gifts I have been given to help me navigate in this world. And if I try to control and manipulate people, I will probably, or think it's more about me or more about these things of the world, I'm going to get in relationship with people who kind of can have some similar viewpoints. And if I've already seen through the illusion of that, now I'm going to get more balance between my worldly nature and my emotional nature. And then in the high priestess, with Pisces can be about being caught up in illusion. And again, we have the white pillar and the dark pillar, which can just kind of represent our dualistic nature. I need to realize that how my shadowy nature influences me, and I also need to see how it influences others, and to see if people are more self-aware of that, why they do what they do, or do they lack self-awareness, and then they want everybody else to not see the truth. Are we willing to deal with the truth and hold ourselves accountable or not? And wanting to be in relationship with people who have made the decision and have kind of emotionally grown up and matured themselves and gotten out of their more self-indulgent, self-protective nature, or thinking maybe about trying to control and change people, I'm going to go keep moving forward with the people in my life who seem to be more balanced, more motivated and inspired by love, not creating an illusion, not more immature. I'm going to wish peace to the people who are more immature. And I have that more hopeful, believing spirit. In your page energy, you're either more aligned with indulging your more immature nature, or you're willing to be a student of life and have that more hopeful, believing nature and love. And that life is about learning these lessons. Could I be sad that some of those relationships didn't work out the way I wanted? Yeah, but everybody is where they're at. And so sometimes I have to wish people peace, kind of distance myself from them emotionally. Well, where they choose to either work through these issues within themselves or not. But I could have already seen the truth that as I was trying to put in work and effort to move things forward in a more loving, balanced way, hopeful and believing in truth and justice, that they weren't, and they wanted to come with maybe, but they still want to be in their shadowy ways of being. It's like, that doesn't work. A house divided can't stand. Our truth has to be the same. And you could have just had people that are more codependent, looking to someone to indulge them, but they keep wanting to kind of be indulged and not take accountability for their actions. Well, those people are going to be mad that you're not indulging them. And as some of those people realize you're kind of moving on, not going to indulge them, well, some of those people might hide that they're angry at you, and they'll go try to find someone else to indulge them. But you're having new beginnings. You have completed a cycle. You are ready to take the lessons that you've learned to move forward in life. You've learned to listen to your intuition. And I think as you move forward in that energy, other people find it attractive. And as you're moving forward, different people are going to want to invest in you. And you have to listen to your intuition, get to know people, being practical and grounded. Do I have my more fiery nature that wants some of these things that I want in the world and these things I dream of? Yes, but I'm going to be practical and grounded to get to know people. And the pages can just be small gestures and offers to get to know people, to find out what drives and motivates them. Are they more immature? Are they more about themselves? Are they more ego-based, materialistic, selfish, whatever, immature? And the people that I see are, I'm going to move on from them because I've learned to listen to my intuition. And the people who seem to not be that, I'm going to invest more in them and move forward with them and get to know them more. But needless, when you're in this high vibe energy, there's always going to be more shadowy people who want to be the next person to indulge in a relationship with you. I was like, no, I've already had more bossy, controlling, immature people, and I don't want to be. I'm looking for people who have that hopeful, believing spirit in love, who are inspired by truth and love and balance. What's coming up for the shadowy people that they don't see coming? The devil. Why? Because of the Two of Wands. Well, the way I usually interpret these cards down here, the devil can just mean that people also are attracted to you. And these people who could have these things of the world, they could be attractive and charming. They could look like they have justice in the world. There's always going to be people in their life who are attracted to be in a relationship with them also. But they want people, their dream in the Two of Wands of their more shadowy Aries energy of self is to be in relationships who are more codependent or for the money or the status or the image. The devil is Capricorn energy, but in shadow, it can be, either they have these things of the world like, I want to look like I have something to toot my horn about. You're attractive, you're charming, you have stability, you have security, you're whatever. You're loving. Look, I got me a loving person. Somebody who's shadowy would view a loving person as like the devil because the devil challenges your belief system. So, shadowy people, it's always about wanting other people to kind of be envious and jealous of them because they're envious maybe and jealous of other people, and they're kind of more about themselves and greedy and selfish and fearful and insecure and haven't freed themselves from all those things that manipulate them. And they can always have people in their life that they've been trying to get to keep staying in a relationship with them. And some of those people can be attracted to them too and have been wanting this to work out. But because the shadowy people keep wanting to be shadowy and not loving, eventually some of the more loving people in their life are going to move on. And they could be attracted and want to be in a relationship with them for whatever they want to be in a relationship with them for. But they have a dream. And they're more inspired by love, trying to encourage these shadowy people to be inspired by love and be more just and fair. And eventually they see the truth that they're not. So they're always going to have some high vibe people who keep, oh no, I'm going to change this person, I'm going to whatever. And they're going to have other people who move on. And they didn't see that coming because they could know that, again, people in their life love them, are attracted to them. It does have a lot of status or image or stability or security to it, or they know that the other people can be a little more codependent, or they can use the love that they have for them to manipulate them. And it's always worked in the past. Well, that's about Judgment Day, right? If other people have been loving and encouraging, what they don't realize is that other people don't want to keep staying in relationships with people who are bossy and controlling, and the dream never comes into reality. And eventually, the people work through their own issues of why they would stay in it. And the Devil's card looks just like the Lover's card, except that the people have chains and shackles around their neck. This isn't love. It's a toxic kind of connection that people can stay in out of their own fear, their own insecurity, their own fear of a new beginning, their own fear of loving and believing in themselves and maybe standing up for what they believe in. But eventually, if people are shadowy and bossy and controlling, the other people do this work within themselves to stand up. I have offered you truth and love and encouragement, and that doesn't seem to be your truth. I am going to take action to get the justice I deserve. I'm no longer, the devil is about, can be about too, where people are trying to manipulate you, control you, use the love that you have for them, the dream that you wanted to come into reality to manipulate you. And it's like, no more. And then some of these shadowy people, because they're unwilling to see the truth, I'll just go find someone else who'll indulge me. And what they don't, they're probably going to have, they'll either repeat this pattern, getting in relationships with people who don't have the same way of viewing life as them, that they're trying to manipulate, and the same thing is going to happen again over and over. Or, and eventually some people who get to know them well enough and have seen how they live their life, the high vibe people won't want to be in a relationship with them anymore. And they'll end up in a relationship with someone who is more like them. It might have a lot of status or image or ego or whatever, but that is what it's about. It's really nothing to toot your horn about, because it's more out of staying in it because of the fear or the codependency or the things they indulge in or the money or the status. And it's not about truth and love. And I think they'll end up being jealous and envious of the people who didn't get in and stay in jobs and friendships and relationships for those reasons, because those people are kind of going on this adventure of living life. And for some of the people, they could end up feeling a little trapped in hell. But if you think, oh, it has to be all about me, well, you can have someone who stays in a relationship with you and is willing to indulge you in your poor behavior, but it's not because they love you. It's more out of their fear. Is that anything to toot your horn about? When other people have people investing in them because they love them? Or, I think because I have these certain things of the world, people should want to be in a relationship with me. Well, they can have people who are willing to be in a relationship with them because they do have those things of the world, but it's not, they're just kind of indulging them because of how it benefits them. It's not truth and love. But for some people, that's okay because they didn't really want to do love anyway. And they think they have a victory worth defending. And I think over time, even in their kind of more fire sign energy, they might want for more. But some of it won't. And some people kind of have, I think we can be drawn and attracted to people because there's some truth we haven't dealt with within ourselves, and it kind of manipulates us. And I think we can be drawn and attracted to certain people to help us work through those issues, to maybe some people, their comfort zone is to be in relationships with people who are more bossy and controlling, because they could have grown up in relationships with people who are more bossy and controlling, and they like to stay in their comfort zone. And some of those people want, there could be people they know who they think are, remind them of people from their past because they don't want to detach from an old pattern. But if they've been in relationships with people who are more authentic and loving and nurturing, some of the people they want to be in relationship with could have been those type of people at some point in time in the past, but those people have learned lessons and they're not the same person. And so then the shadowy people are mad that other people work through their issues and now they're free to move forward in life differently. And it gets harder and harder for them to find someone who has a certain way of viewing life. But for others, they're not willing to see how some people in their life that they align themselves with, whether that's friends or family members, really don't have their best interest. But because they're kind of codependent on those people. They're not, it's going to put an end to them moving forward, living their more authentic life because they're more codependent. And if it's not other people, they're more codependent on their self-protective, being about themselves nature. And they don't realize that they're looking to negative energy to be what they work with, to try to get stability and abundance and victory in their life, like using manipulation and being controlling and manipulative. And again, they could get in a relationship with someone who they don't even like, but they're willing to stay in it because it has a certain status and image to it. I don't know. Even the devil, I think, isn't happy with being in, like, if you were to think of the devil and having little minions running around who are willing to kiss their butt for whatever, are kind of codependent on them and attached to them. The devil wants the people that aren't kissing their butt in a way, right? And even the devil gets bored of people kissing their butt. And then that's where shadowy people can come try to get in a relationship with a more high vibe person, trying to create the illusion, oh no, those people were toxic, oh no, and they're hiding that they really just could have gotten bored with someone, the past loving person that could have been in their life, who was trying to be loving and encouraging to them, or people just indulging them. And it's like, yeah, but who are you? Well, I'm still really more aligned with my shadowy nature too, but you're kind of more of a challenge to overcome. Or maybe I can control and manipulate you. That's more fun than trying to control people who let me already control them. So just listen to your intuition. Get to know people. Don't jump too quickly into things. Speak your truth. Live your truth. That alone, kind of people like, shit, I really wanted to try to manipulate that person, but damn, I can't tempt them in their lust, their greed, their pride, their ego, their fear, their insecurity, their codependency, because that's not the energy they're in. And a kind of like divine protection supporting you as you go forward, so long as you keep living in your truth and staying focused on the truth and investing in the truth and not investing in your more shadowy energy, because the devil prowls around like a lion waiting to see who it can devour. So there you go, Virgo. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.